So what could be a good starting point? If it was not a good starting point. And what I have been thinking, that if we had selected in this process of Islamization economy, elimination of faqr and starvation, probably it would have made a lot of impact on in the global scenario as well as nationally. Imagine in a population of 160 million in Pakistan, 200 million in Bangladesh, I think, and 400 million in Indonesia. So the figures are staggering. How many of these populations, these big populations, how many are involved with interest? I don't think you will find hardly 5 million or 10 million people who will be involved in taking or giving interest. But starving, if you collect the figures, the people who are starving, we are not talking of poverty, even the lowest level of poverty, where they don't even get enough food only once a day, if they get this lucky, there will be more than 50 million. Mothers and daughters and sisters adopting prostitution to feed children, brothers, sisters, and parents in Indonesia and in some other countries. So why we did not pick up this point as a starting point rather than eliminating interest? It was easy to do if we had selected the elimination of poverty and elimination of starvation. I'm not in fact talking about elimination of poverty, elimination of starvation. It was very easy. People have tons of money in the Muslim countries to donate for feeding the starving people. It is beyond any doubt that people have enough money. They want to donate it. They want to throw it to whoever who would sincerely do this. But obviously they can't find someone who will sincerely reduce starvation. So they are keeping the money in their pocket, just wondering how to do it. And if we had taken these Islamic movements or NGOs had taken elimination of starvation as a starting point for Islamizing the economy, government would have supported it, because it strengthens the government. It is in the name of the government that government eliminated starvation. So they will always support, not like elimination of interest, that their resources will dry up. Now they will getting a political support, so they will be always supported. And international bodies, they will be all praised for the government that it eliminated starvation, and this we could do it. And once we had proved that Islam can eliminate starvation successfully, then it was very easy for people to listen to the call to eliminate interest. Government and international bodies also will be reluctant to make objections on such a move, because it has been proved, it would have been proved that they eliminated starvation just on the basis of the Islamic principles and the commitment of Muslims to do that. So probably interest can also be eliminated, but that did not happen. So that was a digression, the curiosity that why we started from Islamic financial system, Islamizing the financial system. But it did start, and apparently we are seeing it now growing and fast growing. Islamic financial system showing impressive and unprecedented growth. Everybody is impressed. For 35 years it has grown at average rate of 30% per annum, rising from some millions to $1.5 trillion today in all parts of the world, not in Muslim countries. In the industry now stands at $1 trillion, to be very, very conservative. The people are talking of 1.5 trillion. And this is still growing. And this is growing at 36% per annum, according to some estimates. even if we want to be very, very conservative, because the statistics are not really precise, statistics are not really available and are not disclosed. But even conservative, very conservative estimates are also reporting the size of industry at $820 million, growing at 28% per annum. This is quite impressive from all worldly standards. And the Islamic finance, during the last 35 years, Islamic financial institutions did not face any crisis. There were a few crises individually at some banks, but they were solved. Even in this period of global financial crisis, Islamic Bank did not fail because of the financial crisis. They were surviving, they were still growing, even when there was a liquidity crunch in countries like in USA and in European countries. The credit crunch did not affect them as bad as they affected the conventional institution. Now, Price Waterhouse, we all know about it, they are admitting that asset managers' stampede into Islamic finance is mostly an effort to get a slice of the estimated $1.5 trillion of funds available in the Middle East. Islamic finance is no longer just a matter of personal belief. Now, these figures are being given by Price Waterhouse. They won't give a figure unless they have a basis for it. It is no doubt a success story, but from a very specific angle, a secular angle, measuring success in terms of growth, network, monetary profits, deposits, assets, liabilities. But if we see it from our angle, what we would like to see in this success story? The first question would be, what is Islamic about all this experience? And the related, or more precisely, what we can say is how this so-called application of Sharia in the financial system is contributing to achieving the objectives of Sharia, maqasid al-Sharia. We'll say it is a success story if a contribution is made to achieving the objectives of Sharia. How is it contributing to the socio-economic development of Muslims? That is how we will measure success story. If we are talking of quote-unquote Islamic finance, what were Muslims' expectations from Islamic finance? Muslims believe, and rightly so, that Islam is on the side of the poor. This is so much clear, and everybody knows it and everybody believes it. And when Islamic finance comes, they think that they would get Qard Hasan, they would get Sadaqat, there would be financial help for the deprived classes of the population, because that is what they read in the Quran. But when the Islamic finance came, they had problem. These lower classes of the society, deprived classes of the society, had problem even entering Islamic finance institutions. And if they did, they were asked to bring collateral, the same thing that conventional banks were asking, collateral, guarantees. They were told that you will pay share of cost of financing. You will pay cost of financing also, similar to interest. Now you can imagine that how the people who were expecting that Islamic finance will solve their economic problems would feel in this story of success of Islamic finance.